912, 912 days since Richard vanished from the barracks there at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. But he didn't just vanish, something happened, and we have it all. We have enough. When I say we have it all, we have enough for any law enforcement agency to want to pay attention and to absolutely get what we have. And within a week, I think it would be within, within a few days because of the Child Protective Service complaint. If they could get that, what date Richard made the complaint, and also when he made the complaint, or what was in the complaint, then we would absolutely know uh, what happened, I think. Also, um, to get an answer from the FBI, are they hiding the remains of my son, Richard Halliday? Are they hiding the remains of our son, Richard Halliday? That's because the father-in-law of the Lieutenant Colonel Bugado, in the G3 of the 32nd ADCOM, says so. Came into a Dollar General and looked at the flyer intensely. We have CCTV footage, and I can show you that right now. Um, and proceeded to go in and say, you can take the flyer down because this missing soldier, who's a yellow Interpol, who's a whistleblower, he was found. He was found by the FBI because I'm with the FBI. And the FBI were looking for him in Juarez, and they found him, and it's not good news. He's dead. Shh. So I can show you that video really quick. Um, I'm going to start that, see if I can start that.
There's that one.
Here he's looking at the
Yeah,
flyer
he's
very
looking at it,
intensely.
yeah.
The flyer's on the door right there, the door that he came in. This is where he's telling the cashier the story, and he gets very animated. Yeah, he tells her that he's with the FBI and that the FBI were looking for Richard in Juarez, Mexico, and they found him so that she could take down the flyer. And she asked him, really? Is he okay? Is he alive? And he called her over. He called her over, and she went over there. And this is where he says, no, it's bad news. He's dead. Shh, shh. Why, shh? Yeah. Uh, so when you see something like that, and then, she called it, she was very, very, very courageous because when we got there, less than an hour after he left, we got her video testimony. We received the CCTV footage. We talked to people in the store. This is very, very important. Richard is a distinguished honor graduate from his cycle for basic training and AIT. He is the very first CONUS S1 missing soldier under the new Vanessa Guillen absent soldier flowchart. Um, we do not have answers to these questions if the FBI is hiding the remains of our son. What complaints did Richard whistleblow to the CPS, the Child Protective Services, which is huge because Richard had told us that the leadership was very, very bad. Mom, it's very bad. I don't want to go green to gold. I do not want to become an NCO. I just want to get out. Okay? So he told us that. It was very That's a fact. And it's a fact that he went over and above and outside the chain of command to make a child protective service complaint. And there's so much more to this case. It's a fact that the General McConville um, did whatever he could with the CID to sabotage the search of the first CONUS S1 missing soldier in U.S. Army history by staging a fake, disrespectful Task Force Find Richard Halliday meeting to lead us to believe that 15 plus agencies, our best, our brightest, ones that we have given $1 trillion to. I mean, we're almost $32 trillion in debt. These are 15 plus agencies: Homeland Security, Customs Border Protector, the El Paso Police, the Bureau of Alcohol, Firearms, Tobacco, DEA, Department of Justice, Department of State. I don't know if the Department of Justice was there. Department of State, the Mexican military, the Mexican government, the FBI, and on and on. The U.S. Marshals, the Texas Rangers. You know, it's huge. It's huge, and I don't know if ICE was there. Because that's very interesting too. BORTAC was not there. BORSTAR was not there that I know of, and they should have been. They absolutely should have been if it would have been a legitimate task force find Richard Halliday, because they are premier searchers. Um, so it's a fact that they used psychological operations against us, that they used military operations against us, that they use asymmetric warfare tactics against us. It's a fact because we have proof of it all. We have proof. We have it all documented. It is a fact that the command sergeant major, even after Richard had triggered the IG to look through the barracks there because of Halliday, all over the barracks because of Halliday, with, we believe, the Child Protective Service complaint that was over and above and outside the chain of command of the military, which I'm sure did not make them happy. And it's a fact that our military is engaged in pornography, big time pornography, turning the barracks into a marketplace for illegal drugs. That weapons were all over the barracks. Matter of fact, the words were the barracks were flush with weapons. And then the CID, this is a fact, that the CID called us and said it wasn't just Richard's barracks that was flush with weapons. It was all the barracks, all the barracks. Okay, it's a fact that we know that even Fort Stewart was having problems with soldiers fearing for their lives and having private weapons, even at their workplace, and I'm sure in their barracks. I'm not sure of that, but I know in their workplace. And we know that things were out of control sexually, with sexual harassment, sexual assault. We know for a fact that even colonels are so bold. They are so bold, and it's so normative, normalized, that they belong to a sex cult, a doggy sex cult, and he can pose in uniform and post that publicly. Post sex cult gear in uniform and in porn positions, very, very bad positions with others, in places on our installation, like motor pool, like the gym, like their workplace. We know that. And so, Richard not wanting to go to his chain of command because it was very, very bad to go outside, above, and over the chain of command is absolutely um, the right thing to do. But we know that even our agencies, like the Child Protective Services, are questionable and they're not credible. Now, I don't think that Richard knew that. I think he was trying to reach out. Um, and so the command sergeant major is saying he didn't know that he had a missing soldier on his roll, especially Halliday, is absolutely ludicrous. Ludicrous. And then it being Halliday is double ludicrous. So these are facts, and it goes on and on and on and on. And so we are reaching out to the new committees. They're the same people in a lot of them, especially Veronica Escobar. She's on two of the committees that are very important to this case, and she has dealt with us very badly with her office calling us and saying that they didn't think that Rob would do so well on that hike up McKilligan Canyon, where he feared for his life 3 times. If you haven't seen that video, I will do it on one of these live streams. I will show that on one of these live streams. Um, Absolutely, it is very very important because no way, no, that was that was such a setup job, in my opinion. Um, to intimidate us, to scare us off, to go home because we were in El Paso at the time. I believe that's my opinion. They have dealt with us very badly. Why? What are they hiding? Who are they protecting when it comes to finding Richard? And he is absolutely, this is absolutely not a cold case. Yet they don't know what else to do in order to cover up. And so they put them in cold case. Same with Enrique Roman Martinez. I believe that that is absolutely not a cold case, and neither is Lavina Johnson. I don't believe that's a cold case, but that's my opinion. And I know that our son's is not. And so we have $150,000 uh, in reward money for credible information to finding Richard. And yet, these young soldiers are so afraid. They're shaking in their boots. Even the command sergeant major was shaking in his boots. The retaliation is so big. I hope they really do find these new committees, these new committee chairmen, um, do find out that the government has been used as a weapon against our service members, our land, and our people. 100%. And this case is a micro example of the weaponization of our government in a macro sense. And this is all possible because 44 four-star generals have signed up for this kind of weaponization against the land, the people, and the service members that they are legally obligated to care for. And yet, um, they have used their powers against the service members in crimes against humanity, even against the land, and even against all the people. Crimes against humanity. So there needs to be an investigation. I think there needs to be a Nuremberg trial. Absolutely a Nuremberg trial. This is absolutely high crimes, y'all, and misdemeanors, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. And so there needs to be restitution because there needs to be an audit because this is all about business plans, making money, business plans. Let's break the window and then let's try to fix it. Let's break the window. Let's bring in war and then make a load of money off of it. Let's, um, you know, it's the broken window fallacy. It is the moral hazard. It is. We know that the Pentagon has spent a lot of its money on psyops to convince us that they are working for us. But we know now in this case, we know in this case, it's very clear. The micro has shed light on the macro that the 44 four-star generals and admirals, the 44 four-star billets, the 44 uh, characters that are wearing our beautiful, beautiful uniforms, American military uniforms with 4 stars on them, are criminals. They are absolute criminals, and I even call them demons for what they have done. They are servicing foreign and domestic enemies. Absolutely. And why do we have 44 of them? World War II, we had millions of service members, and we only had 7. So why do we have 44 now? And they are absolute criminals. And they have the entire military at their fingertips. The military is not a democracy. So they give orders, and if someone doesn't follow their orders, they can retaliate against them. And they have made it so that even if it's an unconstitutional order, they will still retaliate. And even if they go over and outside and beyond the chain of command, they will retaliate. Richard was retaliated against severely and continuously for months, for going over and outside and above the chain of command there to the Child Protective Services. And of course, because of these porn videos, that we are told that he gave the Child Protective Services as evidence for what he was reporting on, which we have a FOIA and we still haven't gotten that answered. And Veronica Escobar in 2 of these very important committees has not gotten for us. And our own representative, William Timmons, flicked us off like a fly, you see, because who are they protecting? These and it's interesting that they love this war with Ukraine, and are setting the pace, setting the whole setting the scene for a tragedy to happen, something to go wrong that will bring us into war with Russia. And they have this, like, I was listening to this 4-star general today. I posted it up, and she was talking that, Russia is her adversary with all these other countries. And I'm like, really? Really? Why are they your adversary? I don't see them coming over here and bombing us. Who is she working for with these foreign and domestic enemies of the United States, that Russia would be the second adversary to her, who has the full force of the military, being a 4-star general, having the full force of the military at her fingertips with everything, with lots and lots of money, $1 trillion military, submarines, stealth planes, stealth bombers, fleets, Air Force, the tanks, the Patriot missile batteries, and on and on and on. The grunts, and she is using her power to bring the service members through psyops and also severe and continuous retaliation, weaponizing the power she has against them, to bring them into lockstep, to service these foreign and domestic enemies with a foreign ideology, which is not the antithesis of the Constitution. And that is not her duty. And this is the standard operating procedure for these 44 4-star generals and admirals. They have become our enemies, and they're bringing our volunteer sons and daughters into harm's way for no reason. What are their reasons? Let's debate the reasons. Where are the politics and the discussions to, is their job so important? Is warring so important in their life that they have betrayed us all? So Absolutely. So the bell tolls on that one. The bell tolls on that. Um, and I will. That's why I'm live streaming, to let people know there are facts, and I gave those 5 facts on TikTok live yesterday, and I will hold another TikTok live, um, and keep going and keep going and keep streaming until enough people understand what is going on. That this is uh, n- all of the mess that we're in is only possible without a defense. Okay? They have left us defenseless. We are defenseless with our representatives. They can flick us off like a fly, like Representative William Timmons, who, please, I'm a Republican. I will never. I will campaign against him. Okay, he was even called a coward by his own man. Okay, a coward. Lindsey Graham was called a coward in the meeting because they didn't even come themselves. They just called us in and flicked us off. Richard is not a cold case, and we are a family that matters. We might not have the same beliefs and goals as these demons do. We stand for family. We stand for the military service member and their families. We stand for the land and the people under the Constitution, under God, under God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Ghost. Um, and we're not all about the money. We are not all about the money. We we want everyone to have the freedom to have their businesses, to have their families, to keep their earnings. This is, you know, to decide for themselves what is good for their land, and under the law, absolutely under the Constitution, under God's law. And it seems that um, we are an antithesis. We want the truth. We absolutely want the truth, and so we hunt for it. We hunt through the white papers. We go on alternative media. We do not parrot everything that they say and do everything that they tell us to do, because we are free human beings and we are citizens of the United States, and we have that right under the Constitution to protect ourselves, freedom of speech. Um, and so this is really uh, something that William Timmons needs to understand. When he represents his constituents, it's many different people, many different people. And when his constituents are looking for the first CONUS Dust 1 missing soldier under the Vanessa Guillen absent soldier flowchart, and distinguished honor graduate for his cycle in basic training as well as advanced individual training, that was so excited. He was so excited, and he aspired to serve uh, a entire career in the army, and was then turned 180 against it because of the shenanigans, the evil that is in the leadership of the military. And he saw that very clearly, even as a young man. He made a video saying, I don't know what I would spend my money on, but not on whores and blow. And he was giving a message to the soldiers, because we know that even in the very upper level leadership, they're spending their money on whores and blow. And that is anti woman, that is anti health, and they proclaim that they are for women and they are for health, and yet that is just talk, that's just narrative. And so we need to know what's in those porn videos, what's in the Child Protective Service um, complaint that Richard made. Why were the IG all over the barracks? Because of Halliday. Why did the four-star general use military operations, asymmetric warfare tactics, and psychological tactics operations on a family looking for their missing soldier, whistleblower, yellow Interpol son? And that yellow Interpol confuses people. But Richard is a yellow Interpol, um, which is very, very telling because he is without a crime. That's why he's a yellow Interpol. He's missing. If there was one thing that they had on him, he would be a red Interpol. So the yellow Interpol is very telling because they love its standard operating procedure when they're trying to hide their crimes to take the whistleblower and smear them. And I've seen this over and over and over again with many different cases where they try to smear the family, especially ours, smear the soldier, especially Richard, even from the military police guard mount. A senior leader, groundlessly, yellow Interpol, was smearing Richard to the military police that are charged with trying to find him. And yet their training is so wicked that they fell for it. It didn't even raise flags. And they proceeded, one of them proceeded, um, and I think he's a nice guy. But I think that his training, the psyops done on him, was severe, and the retaliation in the military is severe and continuous. And so he proceeded to go to people handing out flyers for us and tell them not to do that. Do not do that. Richard's not worth it. He's not worth it. This is a missing soldier. Can you believe it? Would he like someone to do that to his missing child? Because I know he has children. If his child went missing, would he like someone to say, "Oh, don't go hunt for that child. That child's a brat. That child is not worth it." Can you believe it? It's and this is a military police soldier that was swayed to act in that fashion. Um, so this is not a cold case. This has evidence all around it that involves the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which are very powerful, and they could be a bright light in this. They could really help us to find our son. But they are definitely involved in this, and you would think that they would have contacted us and offered their help, their aid, their power, um, their political power, because Mitt Romney's father was born there at Colonial Juarez, just under the new Casa Grande, Colonial Dublin, which were settlements for the Mormons there in Mexico, in Chihuahua, Mexico. And they are beautiful, y'all. They've been there about 100 years, and they are lush. They are lush. They are beautiful ranches, orchards, farms, you name it. It is beautiful. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has stakes all the way up through Texas, um, and New Mexico and more. They have stakes everywhere. It is interesting that their two temples are on the Mexico side, and it's just interesting. There's people that are Mormons that are from New Mexico and El Paso, Texas, that go over there at least once a week, more often, to attend the temple. So it's very, very interesting. And you would think that they would reach out because they know about this back and forth through Juarez. And they have people that work there at the border entrances, especially the Santa Teresa port of entry. They have people that work in the CPS. Um, so it is, this is not a cold case. This is a case that involves very powerful, I think. Um, well, I would like to know Major General Clem Coward's part in all of this, the depth that he played in this case. and with Richard, because he retaliated against Richard severely, continuously, and severely. Why did he do that? Um, you would think that if someone is whistleblowing on child sex trafficking, that they would give him a hero's medal, right? But this is not the case. They retaliated against him severely and continuously. And we'd like to know what his role is in all of this. So, this is 4-star generals, 2-star generals, 3-star generals. This is about politicians. This is about the border going back and forth because we were told that Richard was found dead, and then another person said in uniform, in uniform. So, so if Richard was found dead in uniform in Juarez, Mexico, and they're trying to cover up a whistleblower for child sex trafficking, narcotics trafficking, um, after retaliating against him severely, using our government, our military, as a weapon against our people, our land, then no wonder they have him in cold case. That's why, they want it to all go away. So this is very dangerous for me to come on, very dangerous for our family to come on live streaming and talk about this. But this is our son, you see. This is our son. He's a human being. And there are other volunteer sons and daughters. There is the entire base of service members that are being retaliated against continuously and severely. Every day, crimes against humanity is perpetrated against them, and um, and they are being used badly to service foreign and domestic enemies instead of defending the Constitution. And that is why our representatives, like Veronica Escobar, like Lindsey Graham, like William Timmons, um, have been left defenseless and have been corrupted because they are too afraid. They are cowards. They're cowards. Two of them have been called cowards to address this case. So, and I didn't call him a coward. Their own man called him a coward. Um, so we've had one Senator Ted Cruz, who tried a little bit with a wonderful letter, and he was flipped off by the Secretary of the Army, Christine Wormuth. Who is she? Who is she? Has she fought on the front? You know, I'm so these warmongers that make so much money, and they don't care for our volunteer sons and daughters, and that's my opinion. That's an opinion. Um, but why would she flip off a sitting senator when he gave her a 48-hour suspense date, and she didn't answer him until the fifth day and flipped him off? Um, yeah, to Director Ford of the cold case Quantico CID. Yeah. So this just gets frustrating for us. But when I see the American people out there and their frustration, and that we are coming together because everything is becoming clearer and clearer for us, for so many of us. And I understand the grieving. I've seen many grieve, and it sometimes they grieve like a deer in the headlights. They don't know what to do. They don't know the truck is coming after them, is coming towards them, and they can't move. Um, and my, very humble opinion is go ahead and cry. Go ahead and cry, and then get on your knees and pray beside your bed. Pray really hard in your bed, beside your bed, wherever you like to pray. Get a good night's sleep, and then get up and put your boots on, strap them on, and gird yourself, and let's get busy taking back our country from the real power. You know, they all talk about the executive branch um, as being the real power. That is not, y'all, that is not the real power. The real power is the military, okay? You saw that with, I hope I'm saying his name right, Soros down in Brazil. Um, he had the power of the people behind him. He was in the executive branch, but he was left defenseless. He did not have the support of his military. And so think about that. That is very, very telling. A king without a military is nothing, is defenseless, has to go away with his tail between his legs. Um, the military is who are serving the foreign and domestic enemies. They are our problem. They, we are left without a military right now. Okay, they are serving others on our dime, our trillions. We are in almost $32 trillion because they are serving foreign and domestic enemies on our dime and on our children's dime and putting us in mega debt, which is, as a country, is weakening our currency, is weakening our stance in the world, and it's making us weak. And I have heard from many, 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 many families that their volunteer loved one gets into the military and they come out and they are bust. They are mentally bust. They are alcoholics. They are on mental illness medication. They are on drugs. They have PTSD. They are bust. And they have been sexually assaulted. They've been raped without any justice. And so they're bust. And so this is not a successful 44 four-star generals when it comes to defending the Constitution. Think about it. They are successful in destroying our military. And so the military is being directed by 44 enemies. And they need to be investigated. They are in our uniforms with our four beautiful shiny stars, and yet they are enemies, y'all. We have been captured. We hijacked. We have been hijacked. And so this is very, very important. And we will not be able to get back our representatives and our senators on the right footing and the executive branch on the right footing unless we get back our military. And so I hope everyone understands that. It's very, very important because our service members are suffering, and there's so much injustice. So and this is the only way I know that we will be able to find out what happened to Richard, because we are being blocked by very, very powerful forces that run our military. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. They run our Marines, and they're letting our Marines participate in human trafficking from Camp Pendleton to Tijuana. So when you understand all the cases, when you understand the frustration of so many families that are trying to get justice for their volunteer son or daughter, that have been hurt or killed, murdered, brutally murdered, or missing in our case, then maybe you can really gird yourself quickly in the morning. Spend one night grieving for our country because it is so sad, but and praying. Don't forget to pray, and then gird yourself. Put those boots on, very good boots. Don't forget to put boots on because these enemies, they will send you up cliffs. They will have you hanging by your fingertips, and they won't tell you that you need to wear good boots and put on a backpack with food and water and be prepared. Um, yeah, that's part of the story too. But we will climb any mountain. We will follow any stream. We will go down in any valley. We will be fearless for our country, for our service members, for the land, for the people, for our Constitution. Um, and This is a message that I want to get out to every patriot out there. Um, if we want free and elections, if we want valid elections, we need to have our military back, y'all. Because our representatives are everything um, is hindered and left defenseless with our very, very powerful military being hijacked. So thank you so much. God bless you. I'll go on Facebook real quick for some comments. I'm trying to figure out how to do comments on this live stream to many different social media platforms like Telegram. This is going to Telegram. This is going to Twitter. This is going to Facebook. This is going to Odyssey. This is going to Rumble. This is going to, I don't think it'll be posted up to Rumble. This is going to, I need to add Instagram on there. And I'm trying to add TikTok as well. We need to reach as many people as possible. So please share. Please subscribe. Please comment. Please call 941-677-0060. If you have any tips on how to forward this, please reach out to your representatives to let them know that please reach out to the military and let them know that we're watching General Milley and all the rest of those 44 four-star generals and admirals that have betrayed us and are servicing foreign and domestic enemies. I kid you not. I'm not kidding. And I can't say it enough to let people know and be aware of the absolute danger that we are in. And it can be turned on a dime. Do you understand? This can be turned on a dime. We just have to put on those boots, gird our loins, and start calling, start speaking out, start getting the media's attention, and this exposing the failure of our military. This is what Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe said. It is the failure of the military that drives them to do the right thing. So, so we need investigations, we need audits, we need replacements, definitely. And there's plenty of them. There's plenty really good people that are crying out, and they get silenced. And they want to lead this country back into the defense of the Constitution. So that's very important. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless you, and have a great night. Bye-bye. See if I'm pushing the right thing. I guess God wants me to keep streaming. I just get out of it. Oh, it's all locked up. See if I do this.